Hi everyone, this is Vista User 2 here with you once again. Today I'm going to go show you guys the radio that has been in my garage for a number of years from our old 96 GMC Safari. This is a Delco Electronics Radio with a tape deck, and you can have up to 7 preset channels on your radio. Now this radio was taken out back in 90s, since we replaced the radio from this type of radio to a CD player. We've had this radio in the garage for years. If you're wondering why is there a missing volume knob, I pulled it out because apparently the volume knob on the 99 Safari that we're planning to sell is in there, because the volume knob on that radio broke off and we couldn't find it. But I did find the piece that put my clip in, so I can stay in. So I super glued the big long part, the small part, and the big long part in there together, and it works. Now, this type of radio, as you might know, is a lot different than the one that's in the 99 GMC Safari. For example, the balance, treble, bass, and the fade are all connected. The volume, the balance is connected to the volume knob, whereas the fade is also connected to the tuning knob. And the bass and treble are actually the sliders. They slide up to turn the treble up, bass up, turn all the way down for no bass and no treble. You set it nice and evenly. Now the reverse and fast forward button, actually a progressive scan, or the seek button. If you push it just a little bit, it'll seek to like the next channel. If you push and hold both the buttons in, it'll do a progressive scan to check see if there are any channels available in your area. Now the set button right over here, this button you can actually use to, like, when the knob over here is clicked to all the way to the left, it means the power is off and nothing can go through the radio at all. So you can actually push the set button to set the clock. And not only does this thing set the clock, you can actually set presets on both the AM and FM radio stations. You actually barely see what the LED panel looks like. You have the time, the AM, FM1, FM2, progressive scan, the set, ST. That is the stereo, since some channels might be available in stereo or monologue, and the up and down arrows are for the tape deck. The tape deck is still in pretty good condition. I just played a couple tapes and it still plays tapes without problem. But you should clearly see, if I'll focus in with this pot there, it could use a little bit of cleaning. So I'll show you guys like what I have hooked up to this radio. And actually, I went to Meyer and I bought myself a set of, wiring harness for this type of radio. I disconnected, took apart the wires for the speakers on the thing, and then on the wiring harness, the ground cable for the power connection, as well as the battery and the ignition wire, also known as the switch that allows you to turns the radio on and off. Now, if you guys are wondering, why in the world do I have this in here? Well, I'm going to show you guys what this radio can do. First, I have to turn the surge protector on, and watch what happens. The clock staying set because when I disconnected the other power supply, which was only 1 amp, this one is like 2 or so amps, which is actually perfect for this radio. Watch what happens when I turn the knob. As you can clearly see, you can hear a little bit of music that's coming from the AM station. Now the tuning knob on here, you click the button right here to switch it between AM and FM stations. I have the fade set to front speakers only. And as for this volume button, the volume knob, you push it and it just recalls what station you're on. And it goes back to the clock. Let's go ahead and change it to a station that I listen to on a regular basis here. Now this radio still works. I just have to get a volume knob. Might have to get like a casing for it, like a casing to put the radio in, like a wood box. Hook up the power supply to it, and of course, I might as well put some ventilation around it, so that way it will stay nice and cool and it won't overheat. I'm going to go show you guys the tape deck. I don't even know why I turned that off. I'll set it to a station that doesn't have anything, so that way the audio police won't get after me. Music mafia. Now, if you guys are going to ask what will happen if I put a tape in, I'll show you what will happen when I put a tape in. One of the tapes I found down here in the basement. Let's go ahead and put this in. Crank up the volume, see what happens. It does have a little bit of quality issues because apparently the tape deck needs cleaning. But other than that, it works great. And it's still playing tapes. Go ahead and eject the tape here. And it goes back to the station. Now, the other radio that's in my mom's van, the tape deck doesn't work. Well, the old van, which we're playing this, excuse me. But when I put, the other car, like my car, which is a 2001 Intrigue, has both a CD player and a tape player. If I want to like eject the CD or the audio cassette so I can get it back to the radio station, it goes back to the station in a couple of seconds, just like this radio. And it's also Delco Electronics, and that radio is still in working order. Now the downside is I don't have an illumination wire hooked up to this thing because, well, I don't even know if I can actually hook that up to the power supply to see if I can actually get that to work, because that'll be a cool feature to have that on here. Now, if you guys are wondering what is the illumination illuminates the volume and balance / recall the right and left channel, as well as the tuning, fading, which is right here, the treble and bass knobs, everything right here, so that way you can actually see which buttons to push. If you guys are wondering, like, why are these, like, what are these dots for? The dots are for, like, channels 2, 4, and presets 2, 4, and 6. I'll show you what happens when I push both of the buttons in at the same time here. It shows the radio station right there. And of course the preset goes back to the regular basis. Show it an FM2. Let's see if it's the same thing. Might as well put it on a news station, see if it comes in. Does work a little bit. The only antenna that I'm using right now is that old flight panel antenna that I have right up top there on top of my right speaker, which is hooked up all the way to this antenna wire right here. The antenna connection right here. Might have to get a real antenna sometime soon. So that's the basis of this radio. The speakers I have are the old iHome radio speakers, which are still working, but this one right here probably could use a little bit more loving. I think one of the wires a little loose. Doesn't this one? It comes in pretty clear. This one sounds like it's about to go. So I'll show you guys how to set the clock on here. With the radio off, you just push that, and then you push either forward. Oh, this is the hour button. I did not know that. I have to check, see what time it is anyway. I think it's like 1:13 or something like that. Be right back as soon as I figure out what time it is. Alright, apparently the dum-dum. Oops. Forgot to push this up one. The dum-dum just checked the clock and it said 11:11. 1:11 over here in my state. If you guys are wondering, will the clock go away once you turn off the surge protector? Yes, it will. So as I'm done setting the clock. This is also the eject button for the tape deck, which I guess it still works. Let's see here. Okay, everything is in top performance. This radio can still use a little bit of loving. You can see there's a bunch of gunk right here. The eye focus didn't lose its plot. And of course I don't have it zoomed in, I'm just putting my phone close to it. So that's the basis of this radio. Let's watch it. Test what happens when I turn the treble and the bass off. With treble up, bass all the way up. The bass still works on this thing, as well as the treble. Luckily, none of these things are looser than the floorboard. So anyway, that is the basis of this radio, the functionality. If you guys are wondering, where is this radio made? Delco Electronics used to be here in the United States of America back in the old days when radios were around. One of my cars were manufactured radios back in the 1950s, I believe, or 1940s. I think it was the 1940s, but I digress. Anyway, this radio was manufactured back in 1995. The date sticker, which says it was manufactured on November 14th, 1995 at 9:24:55 a.m. Model number, equipment number, it says Radio Bueno, which means radio good. If you guys are wondering what type of language is this? Now, if you want to go to the back end here, some more information like the customer number, parametric, speaker test, the model number right over here. Hot, which means I did a test to see what we'll do if it's operating in hot weather or something like that. And over here it says it is made. And I put my phone upside down, you can actually see it. I don't know if my video editor is going to like that or not. It says manufactured Delco, assembled in Mexico. So this radio was built in Mexico, and it still works. If you guys are wondering, why in the world do you have a radio that's manufactured in Mexico that still works? Well, for one thing, America and Mexico actually make better products than China. Because if you have a part that's manufactured in China, like a car part, it won't last a very long time. All the parts that I have in my car are either made here in the United States of America, here in the heartland of Detroit, or probably made in China. Actually, some of the parts were actually made in, actually all the parts from AC Delco are actually made here in the United States of America, whereas if you get like parts from like third-party vendors like AutoZone, Napa Auto Parts Store, O'Reilly, with their brand, it's actually made in China or Japan. But if you go to like a foreign part store, Toyotas, for example, all those parts are manufactured in Japan. Japan actually is the best manufacturing plant over there. China, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Except nowadays they are because of problems. This phone is actually manufactured in China, but it still works. Anyway, that's the basis of this radio. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about like how to hook up this radio, please click on the link in the description. Anyway, thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment if you have one.